All right, welcome back to another episode of the Everything About Everything podcast. I think this is episode 24. I'm not really sure. They kind of all just come together at some point. But got two more guests on. Got my boy Bug. Got my boy Kev.
What's good?
And I kind of let them introduce themselves a little bit. And then we'll get started.
I'll go first. My name is Jerron Fairweather. Everybody call me Bug. It's kind of weird. Somebody called me Jerron, but yeah, my name is Bug. I'm a grad student here. Just finished up fifth year of college. Won a chip on the last year. Can't even complain about that. Now I'm just working out. Next step is to go pro. So working out, looking at next steps for that. Just trying to finish our classes, and that really all there is to it. And Brian's the GOAT. Just want to make sure I know that. But go ahead.
My name's Kevin Reeves. I'm a forward. Played at Eastern the last 4 years. Graduating in the fall. Not coming back for my fifth year. Kyle stopped asking me. Not coming back. But yeah, I'm just excited for the next chapter. Don't know what that is. I'm done basketball. Knees can't take it no more. But yeah, just excited for the next steps in my life, and yeah.
And if you've been keeping up with the past two episodes, Kev has been someone that's been talked about by a lot of people. So for many different reasons. But what I want to start by asking you guys is, obviously you guys are kind of done with your college careers at least. I wanted to ask you guys, what if you could go back 5 years, 4 years to high school when you're a senior in high school to now, with everything you've learned about college, about basketball, what would you go back and tell your, I guess, younger self?
It's kind of cliche, but like, take every opportunity. Like, I feel like there was a lot of opportunities that I've had in college that I just passed up on just because I was afraid of the opportunity. Yeah, just taking opportunity, embracing it. You know, I don't want to bring it into basketball, but I tore my ACL in 2020, last game of my high school career, and it was kind of scary. I didn't know what I was going to do after that. I didn't know if I was going to play basketball again, but I had an opportunity to come to Eastern and play, and I took the opportunity. So that's what I would say, just taking opportunities, not being afraid to, if it's taking a shot, classes, anything, honestly. But yeah.
For me, I'll probably say when I came out of high school, if I just see myself, my little scrawny self, I would tell myself, just keep working, keep praying, trust God, and not really worry about what other people got going on. For me, kind of coming out of high school, I played on good teams, but like I wasn't like the focal point, or I didn't really get as playing time. Like my coach would just put me in, play defense. I sit in the corner, and then I'll come out, like I played 10, 11 minutes, stuff like that. And then like after that season, like I really didn't have no film to really go off of, other than like just some unsigned senior team film. And I'll just tell myself to like just don't worry about everybody else. Like keep putting the work in. Your opportunity will come, because I know a lot of people that went to this school and that school that quote unquote was better than me. But then if you look at me now compared to them now, like they will love to be in my situation. So yeah, I'll just tell myself, just don't worry about the outside. Like, and I feel like that can go for a lot of people. Like, don't really worry about what people got going on. Like, put your head down, put the work in. You don't got to tell nobody what you got going on. Just keep doing you, and to prepare yourself for, like Kev said, that next opportunity. And then when that next opportunity comes, you'll be ready. So yeah, I just tell myself just to keep putting my head down and just keep working.
Yeah, I'll chime in on that. For me, I think if I had to go back and tell my high school self anything, I think it would be something along the lines of like, it is a little cliche, but I think I would go back and say, don't take anything for granted, like the time you have, because honestly, you guys can probably attest to this, but from our freshman year, your freshman year to whenever, it just feels like time goes by like super fast. Like you kind of take everything for granted, like practices, lists, whatever, and the next thing you know, you're about to graduate, you're about to be done playing basketball. So that's what I would tell myself, and then also just in that same kind of vein, I guess, is like take advantage of everything, like every opportunity, like Kev said, like whether that's getting in the gym or hitting the weights, starting the weights early, because I didn't start lifting weights until probably my freshman year of college. So so I mean, if I had to tell myself something, it'd be that, just so you get a head start, don't fall behind, you know what I mean? So,
and I also say, like, don't get complacent. I feel like especially this year, honestly, I feel like I got complacent a lot. I felt like just not, like, I felt like because we were so good, I felt like I didn't have to work as hard. Like, I felt like, oh, Boog gets up at 6 a.m., so, like, I don't got to do that because he can do it, you know what I mean? Or I see Keeson practice doing it, so I don't got to go rebound, or I don't got to, you know what I mean? I just tell myself not to get complacent, because it's easy to look at yourself in a certain position and say, look back and be like, I'm happy with where I'm at, but I feel like you should never be happy with where you are. You can always do something. There's always something you can get better at. But yeah, that's what I would tell myself.
And I got one more thing too. I would say be confident. I feel like that's one thing that, like, not even just like for basketball stuff, but just for like life stuff. Yeah. Like, just be confident in, like, in what you do. Obviously, just for me, for basketball ways, I feel like I didn't reach that. Things didn't really click for me on the court until, like, I got confident in, like, into, like, the shots I took, the dribbles I took, or whatever I did, and that's when things started to click for me. And even, like, off the court, like, I don't know if I can say this, but, like, when it comes to, like getting girls and stuff like that, but, like, when it comes, like, I'm not even like that. People, like, I'm a very old man, but like, when it comes to, like, just say talking to the opposite sex, like, I was never, like, confident, but, like, once I got that confidence, like it's regular now, but, like, and that plays into everything, like your business, like, you got confident to make the right decision whether it's making money moves and things like that. So that confidence is definitely an important thing too.
Yeah, that's something that I struggle with as a basketball player, even just in general. Like, it kind of feels like no matter how well I play, I never get, like, I'm never like, oh yeah, like, I never have the confidence to be like, this is what I am supposed to do on a regular basis. So even, like, all throughout college, it's been something I struggle with. Like, I can score 20, I can go out and get 30, and it's like, well, I should have had 40, or I should have had this. Yeah, it's just never enough. And I think that's something that a lot of basketball players probably struggle with. And it's kind of just trying to find that balance. Obviously, you have to be your own biggest critic, but also, like, give yourself credit as well. So that is really important. So, Kev, did you have anything to add with that confidence piece?
Yeah, just in terms of confidence, I guess I just wanted to share, like, my story, like, dealing with confidence. In high school, I was never, like Boog said, I was never the guy. I was never, I can probably count on my hands the times in high school I scored 15 points, 20 points, you know what I mean? And it wasn't because I couldn't do it. It was just because I wasn't confident in myself. I feel like I just assumed the role of they need you to do other things than score the ball, or they need you to do other things than be aggressive. And not saying that confidence just comes with scoring the ball. Like, you can be confident in other ways, but yeah, I felt like I didn't become confident in myself, in my position. If you guys don't know, I'm a 6-foot forward, so I didn't become comfortable and confident in my position until I got to college, and just kind of had a belief, honestly. Like, you gotta just believe, like, I'm 6'1", 190, 195 on a good day, going up against, guys 6'7", 250. You know what I mean? And like, you just gotta be confident in yourself. Just have that belief that the work that I put in is better than yours. Quite honestly.
Do y'all remember like the day that like, obviously like confidence, every week have more gap. I feel like we all at a point like we're very confident in ourselves right now, whether it's on the court, off the court. Do y'all remember the day like, or was there a day when like things like clicked?
Yeah.
Like, or do you remember like that time?
I say for me, the game that clicked for me was Widener when we played last year.
Oh yeah, it was at home. Yeah, I need to.
Yeah, I had like 11 straight. That's kind of where my mid post game kind of grew. Out of that game, I felt like I just got more comfortable. Honestly, it was just comfortability. But yeah, I think I finished like 18 or 17 that game. But yeah, just.
I'm trying to think, because I think for me there's a couple different moments. My freshman year, I think we played Stevenson. I think I had like 20 that game off the bench, and then, but that wasn't. I wouldn't say that was the moment where it was like a real turning point for me. I think it was more my sophomore year and the year I won Rookie of the Year, where I was like this is
win Rookie of the Year,
where it was like something
that's
I can.
tough.
It was something where it was like, it kind of validated kind of what I was feeling and my confidence, and I think for me, like winning that award was like just validating. And then that season, there was one point, it was probably just the start of the season. We played Rowan at home, and I had like 28 against Rowan. They're always a good team, so that was like really validating for me. Then we played Dickinson and we played Wilkes. I had like 23 and I had 15. And I was like, this is really something I can do, and I think I kind of just carried that throughout the whole season. And I don't think I really had that too many bad games after that. I think probably when we played you guys Eastern the first time, and then I think I had a bad game against York. But like other than that, I think I scored like double digits like every other game. So I think that year was probably the turning point for me, where it was like my confidence kind of skyrocketed.
I could tell you on the court and off the court, but I say on the court. On the court, the day it clicked for me was I'd probably say my junior year, the year after COVID year. That year, our team went like 20. We had our best record in school history. It was 20-something, and like we lost like 5 games that year. We got votes to get top 25 that year before we lost to Messiah. But that year, I'd probably say going into that year, it was obviously rolling. My role was really just to play defense, and I would just guard the best player and sit in the corner. And I would play like 20, 25 minutes and like shoot like four shots, 5 shots maybe, and like probably like average like 5-6 points at one point in the year. And then like the point that kind of clicked to me was like it was in the office one day, and then the coach was like, I started at that point, but the coach was like, who is the least important starter? And then everybody was like, me, just on the fact that I didn't score. And then I was working with Cliff, shout out Clifton Adams, who was our coach at one time. I used to work out every Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning. And then he used to tell me like bug you in the game, like shoot, like if you miss, like what he gonna do, take you out? Like you got to guard the best player, like what he gonna do? And like I really thought about that, and like it took me a while to really put that in my head. But then at one point I was like, freak it, like I'm gonna just shoot. And then like that first game we played Lebanon Valley, I think I had like 15 points that game, and like I already did it. Like I played, which is sometimes bad. I don't do this all the time, but like I was really playing like I didn't care. Like fast break, I would come down and I was open, like I just pulled the 3 and I made it. But like that point on, it clicked for me like if he pulls me out, he pulls me out. Whatever, like I'm going to eventually come back in. But just on the fact that like I can do other things on the court, so be confident in what you do, like on the offensive end. So that is really when it started to click for me. So I went from averaging 5 points to averaging like 11, 12 points, and then again 17 more covers that year. So that's when it really clicked for me, and then everything else was history from that on. Like it was just an uptrend from that point on. Off the court, I'll probably say it was a work in progress. Freshman year, skinny little big-headed kid coming in, ain't had no confidence to really speak my mind or talk to anybody. But what kind of helped me build that confidence over the years, I feel like it's uptrending from my sophomore to junior year, like most significantly, just being around other confident people. For me, those people were Teron, Dreg, Sam, and Kay. Those people, I feel like being around them, they're very confident when it comes to talking to people, when it comes to doing whatever they do. Especially Dreg, like y'all know how he is, but like super confident person, like being around a person like that, like you have no choice but to get on their level, and that can obviously build into other things like basketball. Like when you play with good people, you have no choice but to get better. You playing against good people, so I was around confident people all the time, so I had no choice but to get confident in myself, and that kind of like uptrend to where I am today. Like now, like you can't tell me nothing. Like if I'm walking up on a shorty and she say, I'm gonna be like, girl, I look good. Stop. It's like nah, but that was it for me though.
Yeah, kind of going back to the basketball side of things, is it there like, would you agree that, not agree, but it kind of feels like to me, obviously you need to work on your game to have that confidence, but I feel like even getting that confidence, I feel like you need to actually perform in games as well. Like, it kind of feels like no matter how hard you work, obviously it's important, but you need to produce in games to kind of have that confidence just in general. You know what I mean?
Because I agree. Because people can be practice players. They were like they're confident in practice, and then like in the game they fold. But when it comes to like producing a game, for me personally, my view, I feel like you just need that one game. And then once you have that one good game where like you see you can do it, like I feel like you're gonna have confidence going to other games. No matter if you like, let's say you have one good game, then you have a bad game. Like the fact that you had that good game, you know you can do it. Like there's no excuse. It's not like you've never done it before. Like that confidence is going to be higher because you know you've done it before and you know you can do it. So, but I definitely do agree. Like you can work out a lot, you can go hard and press a lot, but like that production in game does need to be there for it to really
it's a mindset.
Solidify. Yeah,
it just comes down to just having a mindset of like, this is what I want to do. Like I feel like we had, I don't know if you want to bring up the Mac chip already, but like we lost twice going into that game, and people could say like we were non-confident going into that game, but we had a belief and we had a trust in each other. We trusted our coaches. Like I think it just comes down to everything, honestly. Like you have to have belief in yourself. You have to have trust in your coaches. Coaches have to trust you. But like it's just, I don't think it's just one thing. Like you're not just gonna go put up 1,000 shots and be LeBron the next day. You know what I mean? Like it takes a mindset. It takes more than just practice.
Producing games. But yeah. So moving on, we wanted to talk about the men's and women's Final Four. We'll start off with the men's side. Purdue and NC State face off. I think it is this Saturday, and UConn and who am I forgetting? It's UConn and Alabama that play this Saturday as well. What are your predictions and kind of thoughts for the Final Four, and who do you think are favorites for the championship? I know for me, I'll start. Last episode, I kind of talked about UConn being the favorite. For me, I just think they've been dominant. I think it said their last 9 or 10.
The games were 15 plus.
Yeah, so double-digit wins. They've been dominant since last year. They've kind of been the front runners all year to me. But I wanted to get your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I for me, is UConn all the way. Like even before the season started, I had UConn winning. Um, and just because I mean you can kind of see like the how college basketball is working right now, especially with NIL and stuff like that. Talent is very diluted around all teams. Like it's no longer you're not going to see a lot of juggernauts, and because also of NIL, you're not going to see like a lot of freshmen. Freshman phenoms and freshman like juggernaut teams, I should say.
Like Kentucky.
Yeah, like you're not going to see like the Devin Booker, Carlton Towns teams like no more. Like it's not a thing. And also because of NIL, like you're going to have people staying longer. Like I heard Jay Wright said that like the time of freshmen dominating college basketball is of the past just because of NIL. These players are staying longer, and I'm sorry, 9 times out of 10, team full of seniors is going to be the team full of freshmen. That's just how it is. Unless you got Anthony Davis. That's probably the only way. Unless you got Anthony Davis. But how I see it, UConn winning, it's really kind of not even fair at this point. I don't really have anybody else winning. I am curious to see like how the Purdue NC State game is gonna go though, like DJ Burns versus Zach Edey. That is gonna be a fun one to watch. But for the men, I think UConn wins.
So you don't even think Alabama has a chance?
Nah, it's just.
I think Alabama can give them a run, only because of the threes. Honestly, like, if you're a good 3-point shooting team, you're gonna stay in games. So I think Alabama, obviously UConn is going to win the game, but I think Alabama could give them a run. I like NC State. I'm nervous about NC State because I think at some point they got to run out of gas. But you can't bet against them at this point. Like,
see with NC State and Purdue, I think Purdue's weakness is dynamic guards. And because obviously like Purdue, for as long as we knowing it, they've always had a 7 foot something big and then one dynamic guard. But this year they don't have really a dynamic guard. They got the one sophomore point guard. He's solid, but like he's not really like a Carson Edwards type or a who went to the Pistons?
Jaden Ivey.
Like they don't have that dynamic guard that can score.
Right.
So like I feel like they're lacking in that, and they have shooters obviously on the outside, but I feel like they're gonna struggle against NC State's dynamic guard. And it's not like NC State got a bum in the paint. They got DJ Burns, which
but Edey's 7'5".
Right,
bro.
but he's not. But it's not like Edey isn't. I don't feel like he's gonna move DJ Burns as easy as he's been moving.
I don't think the issue is on for NC State is offensively. I don't think it's defensively for them. I think it's offensively. Like DJ Burns is their offense. NC State's offense.
See, I feel like people overrate.
Yeah, 29.
You're right. They underrate how much the other guards.
No, for sure.
Doing.
Yeah, 100%.
DJ Burns is very good. He had 29.
He's a reason why they're winning, but
yes,
a reason is what you're saying.
Yeah. And then he played against like a Duke team with no strong inside presence. Kyle Filipowski is, he's 6'10".
Yeah, he's more like a stretch. Not really like a dominant.
He's not a paint presence for real. So, but no excuse. But I feel like people underrate how dynamic NC State's guards are, which people will see because they've been showing up every day, hitting big shots, hitting consistently. So that game is the one I'm very like interested to watching now.
Yeah, I think that's an important part of the tournament is the guard play. Talking about NC State and Purdue. Purdue, the reason why they've been early exits for the past 2-3 years is, in my opinion, because their guard play. Like they played last year when they lost to 16 seed FDU. Their guards just got played, and then the year before that, when they had Jaden Ivey and they played St. Peter's, who made the Elite Eight tournament run. Well, he got out. I mean, they kind of did get outplayed by St. Peter's guards, and I just think it was just matchups as well. Like, that was part of the reason. But
I feel like with college in general, like honestly, guards are all the same across college. Like everybody can shoot, everybody can obviously people can like the better you get in like mid majors, from mid majors to the Dukes, North Carolinas. Like obviously they probably can hit tougher shots, but like everybody in Division 1 can create their own shot. Everybody can hold their own. I think it just comes into like their bigs, honestly. Like, do you have a 7-footer protecting the lane for you? Do you have long 6'8" wings that can defend these guards? Like, I think that's what it really comes down to. Like, because the guard play is really the same throughout all college. Like, you'll have these quick guards that can shoot, pass, dribble, but like, I feel like it really comes down to who's defending and their bigs.
Yeah, and
Obviously, coming from a big, I would say that.
yeah, but even when you look at kind of the best scorers in college basketball, I noticed that the top scorers every year are always like they're always usually like mid-major guys or like guards, and they'll put up like 25, 26, 27, 30 points a game most of the time. Like that one guy from Detroit Mercy where he was like second all time. Yeah, I'm forgetting his name, but he was one of the best scorers in college basketball history. He is second all time in points for the men's, and I mean he played at Detroit Mercy, which is like low mid-major school. And I bet if he played at a higher ranked school where they got to go to the tournament, his career might look completely different than it did. So I think it really just does come down to the guards. Or not the guards, but the bigs, and that's why teams like every team in the tournament, the last 4 teams in the tournament have had great big play. Like UConn has Klingon, Alabama has Grant Nelson, who came up big for them when they played. I think it was Illinois. They played Clemson, and UNC came up big against UNC. Mm-hmm. And then Purdue obviously has Edey, and then we know NC State has DJ Burns. So really, the bigs have been kind of a major part in why the teams have gotten this far, and I think that's the reason why they're here. So, and then you talked about the days of kind of the freshmen kind of taking over college basketball is over. I really agree with that, because I think I talked about it a little bit last episode too, but the only 2 freshmen to lead their team to a championship in like this century was like Carmelo and like Anthony Davis. Those are like the last 2. Everybody else came up short, even though they've been great, like Zion or Paolo Banchero. There's probably more people I'm forgetting. Like the Kentucky team, when they had De'Aaron Fox, they had Bam, they had Malik Monk, they had all those guys, and they still came up short. And it all just comes down to experience. And I think with NIL and then the transfer portal especially, and everybody having that COVID year, there's a lot of guys who are there they have like a 5th or 6th year of college basketball, and they're 23, 24, 25 years old. And obviously they're not NBA players, because if they were, they would have probably left earlier. But when it comes to college basketball, I think that experience is really important too.
Yeah, DJ Burns this is his 6th year playing college basketball.
Yeah.
Like you don't really realize like how important like those extra years like matter. I mean, obviously when you're watching TV, like you just see like everybody just hooping, but it really is like a lot more than that. When it comes to like controlling your team, controlling yourself, and knowing when and when not to take shots, like that's very, very important. And like obviously the casual fan doesn't see that, but like as like a college athlete myself, like I understand that, because like obviously like not even just how I play, but like my mental state from when I was a freshman to now, like the shots I would take, the decisions I would make, the times I would reach, the times I wouldn't reach, like it's a lot different than what it is now. So yeah, it definitely is a lot different. And I mean, no matter like how many like Duke teams, like this Duke class that's coming is supposed to be like nice, like with
Cooper decommitted.
Cooper he decommitted from Duke?
Yeah.
For real?
I think I did see that.
I didn't see that.
A few days ago, yeah.
But even still, like that team is still OD. And then like all these freshman teams that are like coming, like they're gonna be 1st round, 2nd round exits. And if a team with freshmen does make it far, they have like a core set of older guys that are in the rotation, or a core set of older guys that are leaders on that team that are leading those freshmen. Like those freshmen aren't doing that themselves.
Right.
Yeah, like the Duke team that won in 2015, they had a lot of freshmen. They had like, I think Jahlil Okafor was a freshman. But they also had a lot of old guys too on that team.
The Twins.
Yep.
There's
So experience is definitely the biggest part of college basketball. But something I did see when you're talking about DJ Burns is, and it kind of puts into play like the difference between like NBA players and like college guys. Anthony Edwards is actually younger than DJ Burns,
Yeah.
and it's like Anthony Edwards is one of the best players in the NBA. He's 22. DJ Burns is 23. So
24.
yeah, something like that. But that just kind of puts everything into perspective when it comes about like the difference between college and NBA. Obviously, college is still a great game, but like the NBA is still like a whole different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do y'all think college basketball will get like faded out at some point?
So does college basketball get faded out at some point? Do you mean like it won't matter?
Like
as far as like NBA goes?
Like, do you think guys will take like the semi-pro route, like the OTs, G League Ignite got suspended, but like, do you think guys would do more so that than college basketball? Because I don't really see like, I guess, the need nowadays for college basketball. Like, it's not really as entertaining as it used to be. You really can't pick one guy and like, you know, follow their journey. You can't pick a guy and they stay on the team for 3 years. They stay on the team for 4 years. They play one season somewhere and then they transfer. Play one somewhere else, transfer, you know what I mean? And it's just like, you're not going to win that way. It's never going to be sustained. I think that's why UConn is still winning, and that's why, you know, they'll probably win again, because they have guys that are staying in that program for 2, 3, 4 years coming up. It was the same thing with Villanova before. Like, they never had one and dones. They never had guys, you know, that were scoring 20, 25 points, but like, you know, they had a freshman come in 2 years later, they're like, oh my God, like, this dude's the best player. You know, like, think Jalen Brunson, think Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Mikal Bridges, like a bunch of guys that stayed in the program, didn't transfer because they weren't getting playing time. Like, I think you just don't see that anymore in college, and I feel like it's just gonna be a thing in the past in the next not 5 years, but 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know if it'll be phased out because of the NIL stuff. I think the NIL kind of balances everything out as far as like college goes, and I think more players are going to be willing to go to college just because of the NIL deals they may get. I think the kind of professional route of going is only for kind of the best of the best when it comes to guys who are basically NBA ready. And I think what happens is sometimes guys fall into the mindset of they're ready to play pro basketball now, and then they end up not even working out or not, panning out what people thought they would be. Like, I'm thinking like Daishen Nix. I don't know if y'all remember him, but he was like 5-star. I think he was class of 2020, 2021. He goes to the G League Ignite. He doesn't play well. He's in the NBA, I'm pretty sure, but he doesn't really get a lot of play time. He's kind of an end-of-the-bench guy. And he was supposed to go to, I think it was UCLA, and play there. And maybe if he goes to UCLA, and that was the team where, that was the years where they had Jaquez, they had Juzang, where they went to the Final Four. Lost to Gonzaga, the Final Four in 2021. And, if he was part of that team, he could have stayed a year or two. And then last year, I think they made the Sweet 16, or it was 2022. They made the Sweet 16, and they could have possibly used some more help, you know what I mean? So he could have probably fit in perfectly as another guard role. And I think people kind of get into the thought that they're supposed to be one and done all the time. And then when they get to the NBA, they're second round draft picks. They're not NBA ready. that I feel like that's happening a lot more,
Yeah.
just because I think a lot of people are kind of falling into that one and done kind of mindset.
The reason I'll say it won't ever get figured out, but I won't say nothing like from a player aspect. I'm gonna say just from a money and social media aspect, because from the end of the day, the NBA teams are trying to sell tickets at the end of the day, and let's just say from a player aspect, what the college does that the pro route does not give you is you're not on national TV every day, and you're not playing against teams that people know every day, and that may not seem important, but it is. Let's say you're in the EuroLeague scoring 20 points a game. Only people that know you are the people from Europe and the scout.
Yeah.
But if you're in America, freshman averaging 15 points a game on Duke, playing against I have 15 against Kentucky, I have 15 against North Carolina, everybody's gonna know about you, and
They're respected more.
you feel what I'm saying? And not even just respect aspect, but like you'll probably get picked ahead of that EuroLeague guy, even if that EuroLeague guy is better than you, just because of the fact that like you're on social media, everybody knows your name, and the fans of that team are going to be wanting, oh, I want the person I see on TV every day that's playing good against Kentucky compared to the person I never see. I just heard Stephen A talk about him one time on First Take, and he might be better, but the person that's playing on college basketball every day is getting the looks, is getting the exposure,
But like,
and that seems like messed up. But like that's how it is. That's why Luka didn't get picked first
Yeah,
overall.
I was just gonna say.
I get your argument, but like, I guess my argument is the guys who take that route. Like, I get what you're saying.
And a lot of those guys who took that route, like, you know, a lot of them like fall off the map. Like,
But-
what's his name's brother? Jalen Green's brother, who went to
Jalen Green's brother. I don't even.
Jalen Green has a brother who was supposed to go to Texas, decommitted, and now he plays overseas in Australia, and he's 19, 18, playing against pro level guys, but like, just like you said, nobody heard of him. But if he went to Texas, we will all know his name.
But at the same time, LaMelo went and it worked for
That's
him.
different.
But yeah, Green went and it
You
worked
can't
for him.
compare the two.
Jalen Green went and it worked for him.
You can't compare the two, because not Jalen Green, LaMelo Ball, those are social media like superstars. Not everybody coming. Not everybody. 99% of the people that come out of high school are not social media superstars. A lot of those guys, LaMelo Ball has been on TV, has on personality show, has been covered since he was in the 8th grade. So like that's going to be the case because people are already on him. But like if he was anybody else, that wouldn't be the case. Like there's only special cases like that. Even Mikey Williams, like if Mikey Williams did not have such a big following, we would all forget about him. But he has 1.5, 2 million followers, so that's the only reason why we all know where he is. So like other than those special guys who have social media cult followings, like there's a lot of guys, even the G League Ignite, that went to the G League Ignite and like fell off the map just because like you don't hear off them a lot. Even if because there's guys that go into college and don't play well, but the fact that they had a big name in high school, and they go to a big school and they averaging 5-6 points on a good team, like they're going to get drafted just because they went to that big school. So at the end of the day, I feel like it won't just because of the exposure that it brings you. 'Cause, I mean, it has nothing to do with skill. It's just all exposure at the end of the day.
Yeah, like 2018 NBA draft, two people were taken ahead of Luka was DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley. DeAndre Ayton played at Arizona.
I see why he got picked first. That's different. He
got. I guess my argument is these European guys and these guys who go pro from high school are a lot better and a lot more disciplined than the everyday college player. Luka coming in was a lot more disciplined.
But outside of Luka, like what other guy? There's a lot of
Jokic come in. It's a lot more disciplined.
Yeah, but you're saying the outliers.
Giannis.
If you talk about like, there's European guys taking every year that obviously I don't know by name, but like they're taking every year. You said 3 guys in the lab. Exactly, but like those weren't the only European guys. There's an average about like 5-6 European guys taken in the first round every year, but like a lot of them don't pan out and go back to where they was.
That's fair.
But I also think you guys are both right, but I think the European overseas game is a lot different than
True,
the
it
NBA.
is.
So that's why when we get to a lot of players getting taken early on and they're from overseas
Just
and played in Europe, they're European or whatever, they have a obviously they're so skilled, but they have a hard time adjusting to how the NBA is because the game is so different. And when players go overseas and play in Europe or wherever, the main thing they always say is like, this is completely different from the NBA. Like Luka will say, the scoring in Europe is way harder than scoring in the NBA just because of the way the NBA game is played.
Yeah.
And then a lot of players will also be like, oh, in Europe you can actually play defense and you can do this and you can do that. In the NBA you can't do this. So I think the games are completely different. So I mean, either way you look at it, obviously Europeans are going to be more disciplined. They're going to have more, I guess, technical basketball skill. Where like as Americans, they're more. A lot of them kind of rely on like athleticism,
talent.
and talent, just being better than everybody
Yeah.
else.
I'm better than you.
Yeah. So it's kind of goes both ways, honestly.
All right, and then obviously we talked about men's basketball just for a while, but the women's game as well is something that I feel like media has been getting a lot of attention to the women's game, and I honestly I've really enjoyed it. Like I think the last 2 years is probably honestly the most I've ever watched like women's basketball ever. Just honestly because Caitlin Clark, obviously, and then just a lot of it's been a lot of storylines going around about the women's game too. So I wanted to know what you guys have, if you guys have been, how often you guys have been watching the women's game, and how you really feel about it as well.
Well, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I watch, every single women's college game, but I started watching during March Madness, and like it's good basketball, pretty honestly. Um, you can argue whether it's, because of the talent or because of the storylines, but like it's enjoyable basketball. I don't know like what the difference is, but like I feel like I can sit down and actually like not be bored by the game anymore. Um, and that's what I like about it, honestly. Obviously South Carolina's gonna win.
For sure.
They're gonna win, obviously. But I think it's good for women's basketball to have stars, and I've been hearing people talk about women's basketball has been better than the men's tournament this year. And, just seeing that growth, seeing, the men who always wanted to say women's basketball wasn't entertaining, like myself, to, change their minds and, be glued to their TV Friday night to watch the Final Four. I feel like that's not only a step in the right direction for women's basketball, but just like in general, honestly.
For me, before last year, I never watched a full women's game in my life. Like I'm just keeping it real. Last year, I watched a few games here and there. I watched the national championship last year with LSU and Iowa. Watched that. This year, I was a little more tuned in. I watched a few Iowa games, obviously because of Caitlin Clark. That's my favorite player right now. I watched LSU, South Carolina when they played regular season, and I watched some of the SEC tournament for the women's. But I was definitely tuned in the tournament. I was at my homie's house watching the Iowa and LSU game, and then the USC UConn game was right after, and that was two great games. I feel like people are tuning in more now, not just because of the coverage, but because like women are doing like tougher stuff, like Caitlin Clark coming back, snatching back, and then shoot from Steph Curry range. Like, who doesn't want to see that? Or like Juju Watkins is doing tween, hezzy pull from the 3-point line.
There was a skill gap between men.
Yes,
in
for sure.
basketball.
Even like not even like obviously athleticism, whatever's on the men's side, but like the skill gap was definitely different. And I won't say skill gap in terms of like women couldn't do certain things, but like women were, I would say, like a lot more reliant on specific fundamentals like, and only fundamentals.
Right.
Like it was only pass, shoot, or maybe I'm just not
watching good enough.
Watching like you see, like when you see women's or you think of women's game before 2 years ago, you think pass, shoot, pass, backdoor cut, shoot. May see something crazy, but like now is not. You start to see like more bag work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I stopped watching it honestly because I hate the call of play every single possession.
Yeah.
And I feel like in women's basketball, that's what it is.
Mhm.
Like every single time down the floor, they're calling like a specific action. And if that action doesn't work, they're calling another action. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's not how the NBA is played. That's not how the WNBA is played. So I feel like once they got away from that and got into like the one-on-ones and the pick and roll, and like once they got to that, I feel like I was on board with it.
Yeah, I think social media has a lot to do with why the women's game is kind of being viewed as it is now. Because I can think back like a couple years ago when Sabrina Ionescu was at Oregon, and she was kind of getting a lot of media coverage for kind of similar to Caitlin Clark.
Doing the same thing.
You know what I mean? And I think people want that. The casual fan wants to see exciting basketball. They don't want to see, like you said, how a lot of casual fans probably will see is like, oh, they run a set the whole time down. Like nobody wants to see that. They want to see people like going out and getting a bucket.
Right.
Obviously, that's not always the best basketball, but as a casual fan, that's it's entertaining. That's what they want to see. And honestly, I think the women's game is kind of taking a big leap. I don't think from like 2 years ago the game has completely changed, but because I can think of some entertaining women's games that are still kind of talked about today, like the 2018 women's final when they played. It was Notre Dame versus Mississippi State. Yeah. I'm forgetting her name.
She had the game
but she had a game winner in the Final Four, and she had the game winner to win the championship. Like, and that was talked about a lot as well. But I just think when you want to expand your game, expand the reach of the women's game, you have to have something that's marketable. And it's like business 101. You got to be able to market wherever you want to sell to the people. And having players like Caitlin Clark, having players that are even controversial, as some people might see, like Angel Reese and the whole LSU team, that's even good for the game, no matter how you view Angel Reese, because people are always talking about her and what she's doing on a court, like when she did the ring thing, or when she did the Johnson You Can't See Me, like
even her putting the crown on before she walked out, like,
even though she does that every game apparently.
Exactly.
People just want to find a reason to tune in, and even if it's for good or bad, like the media is gonna love it either way. So and that's why, and I think that's why it still is good for the game of basketball in general.
With Angel Reese, so like there's this thing I seen Joy Taylor talking about, because a lot of people were saying that like Angel Reese, she talks this, she talks that, but now that she lost, like she's like crying and wanting everybody forgiveness, and like some people were like a lot of male sports whatever it is, they were saying that like she's claiming to be the big bag of wolf, but then wants everybody to cuddle her when she's crying. But like how do y'all feel about that? Because like how I see it is like, I feel like for the women's game, especially for her, like she, like when she talks her stuff, like a lot of dudes do the same thing, but like they don't see them as a villain. Like Anthony Edwards be talking his stuff, Pat Bev be they do shit as a villain. Anthony Edwards be talking his stuff, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, like a lot of people talk their stuff, but like they don't see these dudes as the villain. But as soon as she's really one of the first females to really like talk her stuff for real, and like everybody wants to point her as a villain. So wait, so like, better question: do y'all think that she is making herself the villain, or everybody is forcing like this villain kind of role on her?
I think people are forcing that villain kind of role on her. I don't think she is kind of wanting to be the villain, like you said. To me, she's just playing how she knows how to play the game. Every time I hear an interview with her about why she talks trash, she's always like, well, I'm from Baltimore. And I actually saw one of her high school games recently from when she played at St. Francis. And both teams were just talking trash. They were jawing back and forth. They were fouling each other. And like, that's normal for that area, you know what I mean, as far as like hooping goes. And I just think people aren't kind of used to a woman doing that, you know what I mean? That's why, like, when Ant Edwards does it, it's like, oh yeah, it's cool. Like, he's the next Jordan, or he's Michael Jordan's son. Like, when Jimmy Butler does it, he's Michael Jordan's son. But when Angel Reese does it, it's like, well, why is she talking? Why is she talking? It kind of sucks to me having to kind of see that. But, I mean, for her to have to go through that has to suck too.
Yeah, I think that's just where we are as a society right now. Like, to me, watching the post-game interview, like, what else are you supposed to feel after a loss? Like, to me, it just seemed like she was just reflecting on the season, reflecting on what she has to go through. Like, I can't imagine, like, the backlash or the scrutiny she gets for everything she does. Like, imagine no matter what you do in life, someone has an opinion on it. Like, imagine how you would feel about that. And I feel like most people don't, like, the everyday person who goes and comments on her post, like, thinks nothing of it, but, like, I bet she probably thinks something of that. Like, she probably, like, takes offense to that. Like she's a human at the end of the day, and she has human emotions. And I feel like once we stop viewing these people as, like, gods on a pedestal, and, like,
You can't do
realize that they're human, they have human emotions, human reactions, everyone reacts to things differently. Like, once we get to that point as a society, we'll be a lot better. Because it's the same thing with LeBron. He gets criticized, the same thing, like, everybody gets criticized when they are at that point.
So something I wanted to say too is, for Angel Reese, it kind of feels like there's no way she can win in the public eye. Like, if she talks trash, backs it up, wins, talks more trash, it's like, why is she so cocky? If she talks trash, loses, and then doesn't talk, it's like, oh, now where is it at now? If she talks, loses, and then still talks trash, it's like, well, you lost, how are you still talking? So there's no way she can win in a lot of people's eyes. So I guess it's just how it is. But also something I want to talk about that was a little bit related is a lot of people don't know this, but, like, obviously Caitlin Clark is probably one of the best women's basketball players we've ever seen, especially in the college game. But Paige Beckers was actually, they came in the same class, and I think Paige Beckers was the number 1 player, and then I forget who was number 2. I think Angel Reese was number 2. Caitlin Clark was number 4. I'm forgetting.
Was it
Cardoso was, I think she was either 3 or 5. But those are all the top players now. And Paige Beckers is the number 1 player in the class. Her first year at UConn, she was Player of the Year. She was All-American, unanimous All-American. She was all these things. And then the last 2 years, she's had, like, 2 knee injuries. And now everybody's talking about Caitlin Clark. And dude, they play each other, don't they? Yeah. So
it's Friday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah. So honestly, for me, I'm excited to see that, just because it's like they're similar players. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is probably a little bit more dynamic now, especially, but they're kind of like one and the same almost. So I'm excited to watch that game too. I watched the LSU game versus Iowa, and I watched the USC UConn game. Both those games were fun to watch, especially as someone who doesn't really watch the women's games as much. But I did enjoy those games too.
I really like Paige's game.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I feel like obviously people can fall in love with Caitlin Clark's threes and all of that, but like just Paige's like mentality towards the game, like you can tell when she goes out there, it's business and she wants to win. And I feel like obviously like Caitlin gives off that same energy, but I think Paige just, I don't know. It's just different. I feel like watching Paige, like I just see a different type of hunger. I just see a different type of game out of her. Out of like kind of that phenom. Like I kind of put like Angel, Caitlin, Juju, Paige, and kind of like that phenom 4 of college basketball right now. And I feel like Paige is kind of like the most dynamic in my opinion.
I mean, before I mention that, first of all, I can't wait to see how all of this kind of translates to like the WNBA.
Yeah.
Like I know the ticket sales went up for a lot of these certain teams, but I can't wait to just see how like if the viewership really increases or how these girls. I feel like the transition is a lot. It's like 1-1 when it comes to women's college basketball and women's WNBA. I can't wait to see that. But on that aspect of those players, when it comes to seeing Paige versus Caitlin, I have this argument all the time. Honestly, I'm team Caitlin. Honestly, I mean, watching Paige play, she plays like the game the right way. Like, obviously she don't take as many shots, but like if you really watch the game, like she's moving all the time. Like she guards the best player.
Mm-hmm.
Like she definitely leader in that team. Like she led a team full of freshmen, and if you really look at their bench, their whole bench is hurt. Like everybody that's playing for her, other than the starting point guard, is probably like a freshman or somebody young that probably
wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, so kudos to her because she definitely is killing. She definitely one of them. But for me, I'm team Caitlin just because like I feel like Paige is doing what she's doing. I feel like Caitlin is like kind of doing the same thing. Like if you really watch that team, like it's really like you know how they say Kate in them, like it's Caitlin in them. But if you really watch that team, like they can't do nothing unless they give her the ball. Like the person cast the ball is like, where's Caitlin? Yeah. And like they all cut off at Caitlin. Everything is around Caitlin, and Caitlin finds a way to make these girls that aren't really that good score 15 points a game and look very good, and still get hers. So like it's very impressive what she's doing. But in my opinion, the best out of all of them is Juju. Juju is like that. Like honestly, like she the youngest out of all of them, and like she really like. This sounds like messed up, but like when people say she hoop like a dude, but like
her mannerisms,
like her mannerisms, her game, like Tennessee's like people from now are gonna say like she hoop like a girl, but like she was the first but like when how she moved is different, like it's dominant. It's really like Maya Moore. Like she took a team like
definitely Maya Moore Candace Parker.
Bro, yes, like she took a USC team unranked. If you look at like I watched their first game of their season, like I think she had 30 that game. Their gym was empty as I don't know what. Nobody's in that gym. Compared to the end of the year when they're ranked, there was the 1 seed going to the tournament. They had YG coming to the game, all these celebrities, Travis Scott, all these celebrities come to the game because of her. So like I saw Gino Auriemma, the coach of UConn, told her to go pro. Like she can go to the in my opinion, she can go to WNBA right now and be very good. But that's my favorite one of all of them. But yeah, it's definitely women's basketball is definitely in the uptrend right now. But we can't also forget about South Carolina, the girl, the freshman, the one John she did in the beginning, the little reverse, the little the little Kyrie John, she nice too. But South Carolina don't get a lot of love, obviously, just because like they so.
I think they're just so good.
Like, everybody like they just know they're gonna win. But yeah, women's college basketball, women's basketball. I think definitely a good place.
I think South Carolina is like you said, Juju like hoop like a dude.
Yeah.
I think South Carolina like their play is just so much better. Than everybody else. Like if you watch a game of South Carolina, like their defense honestly reminds it of us, like the trapping, the up in your face, full court pressure. Like bumping the cutters, like it's intense. It's not like, you know,
It ain't sweet.
yeah, at all,
It ain't sweet.
at all.
Oh yeah, I had one more thing about the women's game before we move on. It was going back to Paige. I feel like she really doesn't need the ball in her hands to be
Mhm.
effective. And when I watched her USC UConn game, the difference between her and Juju, when it came down to it, it was like she was just getting too long,
Yeah.
bro. Like I think it was probably a 1 point game or it was tied, and she ran off like 10 straight.
I
10 straight
think
points.
it's the
I was
like the
like,
very.
that's
My
insane.
I didn't cut you off.
Nah, it was just insane. And
Yeah.
then Juju, obviously, she's a freshman, but like
Yeah.
it kind of showed a little bit in her shot selection. And I think that's like her biggest criticism right
Right.
now. But obviously, she's a freshman. She's second in the country in scoring,
Yeah.
despite all of that. But in that game, especially, you kind of just saw it a little bit like her shot selection compared to like Paige's. It was a little bit different. I think it kind of came down to the win or loss for the teams. It's just the shot selection between their two stars.
I was gonna say that, like, you can. It goes back to, you know, the whole experience versus the freshman debate. Like, Paige is an experienced senior who knows. She probably knew, like, going into it, like, okay, these are the shots I'm getting. You know, when it comes down to it, you know, the curl to the shot, like, that's an easy shot that she can get. But with Juju, it was a lot of the tween step back, like the hezzy pulls, like that shot variancy. It'll get you somewhere. It'll get you there, but it's not getting you over the top.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah.
All right, and then moving on. Obviously, you guys are big Drake fans. Last
like that. So.
last episode, we talked about the Metro Boomin and Future album, and then the Kendrick diss. I think that was probably like 2 weeks ago when we recorded that, because we recorded that like right after the album came out, and I just wanted to know if you guys think that either Drake or J. Cole is gonna, you know, drop like an official diss track, or is it gonna be like kind of like sweep it under the rug, or like subliminals type of response to what Kendrick said?
Honestly, first of all, I want to mention Future. Future, you're my guy, but you can't be just under claiming OVO, doing all this and that, then want to switch up. But that's besides. But that wasn't even the question. Drake and J. Cole having a diss. So first of all, from Kendrick's point of view, just looking at Kendrick's point of view, you can't just not be off the map for years,
Bro, like,
and then just come out of nowhere.
yes, like,
and then just say something, and then
you just take it as gospel, like,
Yes,
he's
yes.
God, like, bro.
like that is the reason why I feel like Drake won't drop a diss, is because like Kendrick has not been doing anything, and then he come out of nowhere and then drop a feature, and then you can't drop, I feel like, a diss track to a feature. Now, if Kendrick drops a diss track, then Drake on the clock, he gotta drop a diss track back.
Right.
But there was no diss track. It was just, he basically just shot his shots off a feature.
Yeah.
And then now I feel like Drake or J. Cole may throw some subliminals, because that's some Drake type stuff, to throw subliminals. Like he been posting like on his gram with these captions and stuff like that, and like he posted like Kendrick said Prince outlived Mike Jack, and then you see videos of Drake with Prince shirts and stuff like that. So Drake gonna do some subliminals, he gonna troll, that's just him. But like, I don't feel like a diss track needs to be, like, I don't expect a diss track out of either of them until
yeah.
Kendrick drops a diss track, because a lot of the times, honestly, like, the person who punches second wins too. So like, I feel like all of them want that second punch, so none of them are gonna really drop something for real first.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that reminds me of the I was watching 8 Mile the other day, and like when you go second, they do like rap battles. Everybody who goes second, except for the end of the movie, where he goes first and like uses all this stuff against him. But every time you go second, you ended up like, there's no really response to that. You know what I mean? But I do think I kind of need Drake to kind of respond outside subliminals.
I don't agree with the idea that Kim just came out of nowhere to drop this and kind of get. I don't know what the reason for it was, but I do think it makes it interesting to kind of have a small little like rap beef, and the way the hip hop game is now. I just feel like honestly it was getting a little boring, and this kind of spiced it up a little bit, at least in my
I
opinion.
would definitely love it because I mean that's more music for us.
Yeah.
It's also a for me in the day, but like
And it's funny and interesting to see like everybody take sides. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
but like also like because like I be on TikTok seeing like in the academics videos be coming up like I don't like how like Metro, which I heard actually Ack was like he don't like how Metro women be like I hear asking people to take sides like my guy, like you're the producer, you make beats and you're not the one that's supposed to be talking your stuff, like you make beats, like go to your computer and make your beats.
1 week later.
City that you from, nigga. Metro, shut your whole ass up and make some drums, nigga.
But I like Metro, that's the crazy part. And like if I make
that's
it,
the thing that sucks about this
saying.
beef. Is
Now like if I make it big one day, Metro, I'm sorry, I love you. Like don't hold this against me. Like we can make some music together. But like I feel like as a producer, like he just got to sit to the side and just let the people he already put his album out, just stay quiet, whatever, boom. You said what you had to say, but let the people like who putting their voices out there talk their stuff. But that's just me.
Yeah. And then I think that's all we got for this episode. So it is customary when you're on the podcast, we do Song of the Week.
Nice.
Obviously, I kind of already explained the Song of the Week, but I do it every time, so I'm just going to do it again. Just come up with a song that you've been listening to for the past week or you think is something that other people want to listen to. To kind of make it easy for you guys, I'll start off. I'll start off with two. This was one I was literally just listening to. It's Never Can Say Goodbye by Jackson 5. My song of the week, and then a song I've been listening to recently is Heat by 50 Cent. I saw the music video for it. I thought it was kind of interesting, but those are my two songs, and yeah.
My song is probably I feel like it's gonna surprise people. Is Love Sosa by Chief Keef. Like I don't know why, but like that song I was on I was playing the game Whoop, and then I had Apple Music playing like a random radio station playlist, and that song came up and I was just like I was just bumping my head and I put it to it was like my playlist, but like I added to my favorites, and like every day since then like I've been listening to that song. Like I don't know why, and in the beginning like when they just talking their stuff, when he talking about Chief Keef, and like that part just gave me like kind of up too. So like yeah, I'd probably say Love Sosa by Chief Keef.
Alright, I'm a softie. I listen to a lot of R&B. So I guess my song would be "Come Over" by Faith Evans. I just like the romantic type of music. Put it on, chill, play the game. I can listen to it in any mood I'm in.
You in your soft guy era.
So my soft guy era. trying to get into my be more loose, if you will.
Yeah.
But my song of the week, that's different now. My song I've been listening to. I've been a Lucky fan for the past couple of months. So Leave Her by Lucky.
I
Gotta listen to it. Gotta listen to it.
All right, that's all we got for this episode. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Obviously, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
W podcast in the chat. W's in the chat. Oh my legs.